Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Last Line of Defense. In the last episode, our team was sent to the United Kingdom to face a UFO crash site. Apart from a few lucky shots by the enemy, we took no real damage and managed to clear it without too much difficulty. Once back in HQ, we were informed that Nigeria was opting out of the Xcom project. This information led us to investing in satellite arrays to show our aid for fellow countries. Our team was then sent to another UFO we shot down, once again in the UK. Despite the huge concentration of floaters, we managed to clear it out, only taking minor injuries. Once returned, we were told that our new cybernetics lab was up and running, and we began preparation for our first MEC. How is she doing? All life signs are stable, no complications. Is this ethically correct? Changing this person to be able to pilot the MEC? What will happen to her when the war is over? She won't be able to have children. She won't be able to integrate back into society. She volunteered herself for the job. We told her the risks involved. I just fear what will happen after this. Will these augmentations be made accessible to the public? That isn't for me to say. Right now, it's about saving humanity. So we return to HQ and scan for some activity, and straight away we unlock Carapace armor, which is the first tier armor upgrade. It gives a bunch of health for any of our operatives that use it. We're going to have to create some of it, and we'll do that later. But first we have a choice of what we can research, and I decided to go for heavy lasers. It was debate between precision or heavy lasers, and I decided to go for heavy lasers because I think it's more apt to what I want to do. Because we have quite a bit of heavies in our teams, we always seem to have at least one or two. So I thought that heavy lasers would be better to put down more damage than what we've got. We have a request from Germany for some UFO flight computers, and we got 20 days to do that, but we don't actually have enough of those, so unless we get a UFO crash site, we will not be able to do that. We get a message that our power generator is finally online, giving us a little bit of money as well. We don't have enough to build any foundries, and in the facilities of course we have no money, so we can't do that. So yeah, we run out of money. Also our power seems to be okay, to be honest. We are only 11 under, so we will need to build more generators at some point. Meanwhile, we're looking at who we can change to an MEC. We also decided to go for Guzman, just because I want another heavy to replace it should Williams be injured in the future. We scan for more activity, and then finally we get our first MEC trooper.
The cybernetic interfaces are holding stable, but they're of no use without a cybersuit to interface with. I suggest we manufacture one immediately. When our new mech trooper equips that suit, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with its capabilities.
And the first thing we're going to be doing with our MEC is build an MEC, but we do not have enough money, so snap of the fingers and bam, loads of money. How did that be? Well, I actually sold a bunch of stuff. Now I'm looking over whether to get the flamethrower or the kinetic strike model, and after a little bit of reading and just thinking over in my head, I decided to go for the kinetic strike module, because punching someone for 12 damage is awesome. Now next thing we're going to be doing is building a bunch of facilities. Now we have the money for it. We built an alien containment facility, which we need to continue with the story missions and such. We're also going to build a genetics lab, and then we're going to also build and excavate stuff around the place. I'm just going to excavate something for now. We've still got a bunch of money, so we can go into the foundry just to check what we can do and stuff. I decided first to go to the medals, because there's a bunch of medals happening, and I decided, I'm not going to show you that because it just takes so long, but yeah, going to give a few medals to a bunch of people. After giving these medals away, we're going to return and we're going to go into the officers training school to purchase squad size 2, which is just going to increase our squad size to 6, and wet work, which gives plus 25% experience per kill. Something that Porlak is probably going to need at some point, considering she has like so many kills. And then we scan for activity, and straight away we end up with some alien abductions. So we're going to have to pay attention to those, judging by how things are going. Now we can't go into Africa. There's no point going to Africa because we've lost Nigeria, so we can't get the Africa bonus. So I decided to just go for China instead, because that is much more interesting. Also, China, unlike Africa, actually gives us scientists, which are actually useful compared to getting one dude. After a few upgrades going on, I'm going to change my team around, and we're going to go in with this team into China. Listen here, Williams. I know that you have a shiny new tank with more punching power than one of our jets, but that does not mean you can rush up to the enemy on your own, okay? I am squad leader. I know how to maximize your efficiency. I'm not sure yet of your potential, but if you follow my orders, I will be able to determine where to put you so that you can kill as many of those bastards as possible. Do you understand what I'm telling you? You listen to me, and we'll get on just fine. So the first thing we're going to be doing is moving Sunning up to that bench, putting him into Overwatch. Next we have Kate Williams, our new mech trooper. Now she has a horrendous amount of damage in close combat, and because she has in a mech trooper, she also has a lot of health, which is great because I'm basically going to be using her as a forward scout instead of what I would usually do with Porlak. Basically she can take a few hits, especially at this lower down of a level. We're not quite against the high attack aliens yet, so it's okay to move her quite far forward. The rest of the team is just going to fan out, try and get themselves into good positions where they can spot the enemy. In fact, Porlak does just that, spotting a few of the floaters, allowing two of my members to Overwatch, killing one of them and the other also getting shot. Well, actually it's the same one who got shot twice, it's kind of weird. There's also a little bit of a glitch where I can shoot one of them, Porlak does, but misses, but the other one, which is dead, is still active for some reason. I don't know if that's, well, it is obviously a glitch, but yeah, it's very strange. Richard is going to try and shoot that and successfully do so, killing both of the floaters within the turn that we see them, which is fantastic. During the alien activity, nothing else happens. I'm going to basically move Williams forward into the room with the meld. She's going to probably collect it, kicks down the door, moves forward, no one is there. Goes into Overwatch and is going to move up. Then she just goes into hunker down because I'm not moving her with to the pistol, which is probably, you know, not necessary at this time. Shan goes into Overwatch. As you can see, there is one floater. It's dead, but it's still like active. It's a very weird glitch. Porlak goes into the room, hides behind the desk, and then goes into Overwatch. Meisha's going to go around the building, goes into Overwatch in full cover, and Suleiman's going to go the other side, kind of following Endo and getting up the rear of Williams, making sure that no enemies are in range without being shot at. Anyway, inactivity shows nothing, but a meld canister is detected to the left of Suleiman and the team. Suleiman moves up and spots the meld canister. 6 turns to get it, so that's more than enough. I'm going to basically ignore that meld with Williams, instead going back through the door towards this new meld, putting it into Overwatch. Still not spotting any aliens, which is pretty strange. Yeah, Ender's going to move up. She's also going to just hunker down once again, ignoring going into watch with a pistol. I decide, because the meld canister is up there, to move Shang through this side. I'm going to put him into Overwatch as well. I'm basically just going to move into that direction. While that's going to retrieve that meld canister and then go into Overwatch, I believe. Yeah, it's kind of like a weird thing going on. Yeah, she goes into Overwatch, and then Richard is going to follow Porlak through the door. I'm not going to make her go around on her own because that would be suicide, considering she is a squaddie. She has no like good abilities really. During the alien activity, still nothing showing up, no patrols going anywhere. Williams is going to move up very close to the meld. Now, I put her behind a truck, but it's kind of pointless considering the fact that mechs can't take cover. There is an ability to make them become cover, but they can't actually take cover themselves. I'm going to dash Endo forward, and then she spots two Seekers who instantly go into stealth mode. That's probably the best thing to go up against, considering the fact that Seekers are like they can't do anything the turn that they're spotted or the turn after, really, unless you go really close to them or they decide to fire their weapons at you. But usually they take a second turn before they can actually do anything. Porlak moves up to Overwatch. Richard does as well. I think I moved Suleiman a bit earlier. But yeah, Richard's going to move up just to check what's going on, going to Overwatch. Now there's Suleiman. He's going to move to cover Endo and Williams. He kind of needs to, considering the fact that he spotted some Seekers in that range. So during the alien activity, it seems that I've been proved wrong and the Seekers actually do something straight away. But yeah, everyone seems to miss except Porlak, who does manage to get the kill on the Seeker before Endo can be strangled. The captain really looking after her men as much as possible. So yeah, Endo's going to go up, grab that meld. So we've grabbed all the meld, we are now not rushed for time. She's actually going to switch to a pistol now, going to Overwatch because of the Seekers being there. Shan's going to move up, he's going to go into Overwatch. Porlak's also going to move up, she's going to go towards that window. Doesn't spot any more aliens, goes into Overwatch. Richard's going to also move up into half guards, go into Overwatch because of the Seekers. And Suleiman is going to try and take cover somewhere useful, so he's going to go towards that full cover. Kind of wanted to go where Williams is, but he doesn't have the movement points to do that. Williams, meanwhile, is going to move in a direction which she can spot as many aliens as possible. She actually goes last, and we see our first mutons, which is kind of irritating considering that's not great. Endo puts a shot into one of the mutons who's running, only taking 1 damage, but it's a pistol shot, so kind of obvious. So yeah, so mutons are kind of like the next tier of enemies. They're really powerful. They have alien grenades. They have a really nice plasma rifle that does a lot of damage. And then the first muton shoots at Williams, misses, thankfully, because of the car in the way. Although it doesn't count as cover for Williams, there is still that. The fact that there is terrain in the way will mean that I get some defensive bonus along with the range and stuff. So the mutons being there, I now have to think of how I'm going to do that. For the first time in what seems like since the beginning of the game, we actually get the chance to do some squad sight things. So Ender's going to shoot at the muton with a sniper, actually does manage to hit, doing 5 damage, and then the muton attempts to intimidate, but the willpower of our operatives is too high, or I think it's because it has to be in that range. Suleiman, actually is selected Shang automatically for some reason, is going to move up into full cover. He doesn't get a shot onto anything, but he's just going to go into Overwatch. He's going to open that door actually for some reason. Goes into Overwatch. Porlak's going to run and gun, try and get a good shot onto some of these guys. She goes into dashing into that area. She can then open the door, which is what she's going to be doing, and sees that she's got a shot on both of these people. And they're not very high percentage because they're all in cover. I'm just going to put her into Overwatch instead, because there's no chance of me killing them, and there's still a Seeker around. Richard's going to dash because she's kind of useless at the back right now, so she's just going to dash. She's kind of in, like, there is no one in range to really harm her where she is. Suleiman is going to move up behind the truck, doesn't get a shot on anyone, but goes into Overwatch, just in case as he comes up. And then Williams is going to move up towards the mutons. She's not taken any damage yet, so I feel like it's okay just to put her really close as long as I kill one of the mutons. And I'm trying to get a side shot into the one there, but don't really. It's only 37%. It's kind of horrible. I thought I was going to get much better cover, but apparently I thought I was going to get a flanking shot actually, is what I want to say, but yeah. Then the Seeker shows up. Suleiman actually misses his Overwatch, which is exactly what I needed right now. And it goes for Shang, who's going to get strangled for a bit. And then the muton's going to shoot at Williams, dealing 4 damage. And then the other one is also going to shoot at Williams, dealing no damage, luckily missing her at such a close range. So Suleiman is going to move up to try and get that Seeker, and actually spot some floaters on top of the roof, which is not cool. So many enemies around is not good. I do get a flanking shot on one of the floaters, and I think the floaters are much more important to go for at some points. I don't actually think that. I don't know why I said that. I just assumed. But yeah, the Seeker gets shot but doesn't actually get killed, which is the worst thing that can happen. So I move Williams up, and I decide, you know, I can one-punch these guys with a kinetic strike, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Now I'm not entirely sure how this works straight away, so it takes me a while, but then I decide to punch the guy. There we go, do it properly this time. And it doesn't actually go really well, because I punch and it hits the petrol thing, dealing 6 damage to me. So yeah, Williams is not really in the best of shapes, which is not good, so Pollack's going to really have to kill this Muton. Try not to get her teammate killed, doing 68%, chance to hit, but misses, which is just awful. So right now I'm kind of panicking, because I don't want Williams to die straight away, although we do have Guzman coming very shortly. So there's a few things I can do, and I'm just going to focus on these floaters first, because I want to take care of the enemies that are big problems before going for the mutons, for example. Shang has to do something. I decide, because I can fire a rocket, I then realised I could have just fired a rocket at that floater and his buddy, leaving Endo to shoot at something better. But I do fire a rocket at the floater because I want to guarantee the kill. So there's still a Seeker around, which is kind of a shame. But then Heishao can move up and decides to go for the Seeker as well. Needs to shoot it down. She misses, which is just horrible. It's not going too well for us. The alien activity goes. Seeker runs away, thankfully, doesn't do anything. It just sort of disappears really far away. And then the Muton actually runs away as well. Doesn't actually go for a shot onto any of our... well, actually does go for a shot for Shang, of all people. Does critical 7 damage, which is awful. But doesn't go for Williams, which is great, and I'm just so happy. And I think the reason he moved, though, was because that was about to explode. So Williams is able to move up, and she's going to do a kinetic strike onto that Muton, dealing the maximum 12 damage, just because it's a guaranteed 12, which is fantastic. So she's just going to move up, punch, and then bam, goes flying, gets killed, everything's okay. So now I need to find that final Seeker, which could take a while, considering how far he moved away. I'm just going to put him into Overwatch with Endo, then I decide to do a 65% hit onto the Seeker with Shang, which kills it and ends the mission. Once returned to the base, we can see that we've only got 1 promotion for that, the gravely wounded Shang. Kate Williams actually, despite being wounded so severely, only got 4 days of woundedness. But Shang becomes a captain, and I decide to go for either Danger Zone or the ability to get grenades. Danger Zone allows you to get an area suppression, but this allows 2 extra grenades in your slot, which is so much better. Being able to carry 3 offensive grenades is just great. We also get ability to do a Muton autopsy, getting all the rewards and stuff, and everything is fancy. Once back in base, I decided to look at a bit of what we can build, and I see that we can build some laser pistols, so I make 2 of them. One basically for our snipers is the main idea. I'm also was looking a little bit at what each kind of grenade was, and I see that carapace armor can be built for $16, and it's kind of like, I just built a pistol, I could have just built some carapace armor, that would have been great. But it's true that building carapace armor is probably better when we have a bunch more money, so we can build a whole set of 6 for each of our members. So technically, I think I only ever build 5 because the mech trooper always goes onto the team. So we scan for activity, and then we get our first augmentation, our second, sorry, augmentation for Guzman, who is our basically our replacement for Williams should she become injured, which at the moment she is. So yeah, and then I do her little ability loadout. She's only a squaddy for now, so she can't really do anything, but I'm going to make her go down the other end of the spectrum to how Williams goes when that comes to it. And then return out, going to see what kind of things we can do with our medals, because we still got a medal. We got International Service Cross Medal, which we're going to be giving to Richard. And that makes her much more able to deal with alien threats, should that come to it. I'm looking at how many satellites I can do. As you can see, South Africa's not looking too good, nor is France and India. South Africa doesn't really matter though, considering, like I said previously, we've already lost Nigeria, so we can't get the bonus in Africa anyway. So it doesn't really matter too much. So I'm probably going to just focus on France and India, should it come to it, when I get these satellites for it. I continue to scan for activity, continuously, well, getting the heavy lasers, which is great, and that allows for a lot of awesome stuff. And then we also then do the muton autopsy.
This is the most physically aggressive specimen we've discovered so far, which the troops fondly refer to as the muton. I can only assume there's a colourful backstory for such a designation.
The autopsy on the mutant allows us to make some ammo conservation and a adrenal neurosymmetry for our gene labs, which are about to be built. And then we get the choice to become either precision lasers, skeleton suit, or the UFO power source. I just go for the UFO power source. I'm not entirely sure what research that actually gives you, but we'll see, won't we? We wait a few more days and then finally build the alien containment facility, which will allow us to put in any captured aliens into to interrogate them, giving us a bunch of bonuses for things. We also get a little rebate, so we got 31 credits to do that with, well, to do stuff with anyway. I'm not entirely sure what I'd want to do right now. I'm kind of looking at how to build things. I'm debating on whether or not I want to build another trooper. I kind of really want to make a satellite. That's really what I want to do. But we have unlocked the laser cannon, which is a bonus, well, an extra weapon for our interceptors. So I'm going to build a few of those. I think I'll build 2. Just because that'll be better for taking down alien ships and UFOs. So I'm going to load them out now, choosing to do one of them in the Americas, or in North America I should say. And I'm really judging on what to do, whether the Phoenix cannon is better than the laser cannon. It turns out that the Phoenix cannon is technically, in my opinion, better than the laser. But I think that the avalanche missile is just terrible. Wait, what am I doing? Well, either way, I'm doing it wrong. So there we go. So I'm changing the avalanche missiles for laser cannons because they're just better. I then scan for more activity, waiting for the UFO parcels to do it. Quite a few things happen, and then we get a cancel mission from the council, which gives us only a reward of 2 engineers. Which is, not the best. But this is one of the special missions from Operation Slingshot, I believe. So we're going to be taking our crack team that we've got, and then we're going to be going into this cancel mission. This operation is a very special mission to do with Operation Slingshot. The idea is that there's a huge spaceship coming our way, and we've got to place some navigation beacons of some kind to inside this train that's going to follow it down, so that the ship has to follow these navigation beacons, and eventually it is going to get shot down and will crash, which will allow us to assail it, which is pretty cool, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We have 10 turns to do that before the ship goes too far away. So yeah, our team is just going to fan out. They haven't seen any enemies yet, despite Williams moving pretty far up ahead. Weishao is going to be the next one to move up. We're just going to fan out. We're going to put a few members on the left side of the train and a few members on the right. We're also going to, I think, get 1 or 2 members to go inside the train itself. During the alien activity, nothing really happens, but yeah, the beacon that we have to put down is actually quite far away. We've only got 10 turns to do so we're going to have to rush some people at some point. Polak is going to go into the train.
We're going to be using to move the transponders. It's not ideal, but we'll have to place each of the transponders in a fixed position in order to ensure the signal strength.
So yeah, that's just Central telling us exactly what we need to be doing. Polak is going to go into Overwatch. No, she's not. She's going to dash forward because we need to get it in position, and we can see that there are some thin men in our way. They're going to run away, get themselves into better hidden positions, which kind of sucks. And then we're going to move to Endo, because I need to get into good position to see these guys and kill them straight away before they can do any real damage. So what I'm going to be doing is moving Visha up to be on top of the train so that she can get a good view of his surroundings, also giving a defensive bonus from anyone shooting from below, and also giving a general good hit chance should she shoot at anything below her. Vargas is going to move up to, next to that plant. He's going to go into Overwatch. Suleiman is going to wait his turn because Williams is going to move up first. Going to try and spot as many enemies down as possible. We can see the second transponder place. She can actually see one of the thin men, so she's going to shoot at him. Actually managed to hit through that and doing 6 damage and killing that thin man straight away. So leaving Endo the ability to move up. Doesn't spot anyone, doesn't go into Overwatch because she can't, so she's just going to get a pistol out, go into Overwatch. She's got a laser pistol now, which allows her to do much more damage and will eventually allow her, well, actually, should she hit, she would manage to deal 3 damage normally, so that's a good thing. The thin man moves, goes into an Overwatch site from Ender with her laser pistol, who doesn't hit with her Overwatch, which is a shame. Goes into cover. Tries to shoot at, I believe that is, tries to shoot at someone, but Vargas, tries to shoot at Suleiman, there we go. Vargas manages to do his covering fire shot, a exceptionally awesome upgrade, which he does, which is great. One of the things that is really annoying though is that this train is actually on 3 levels, which is very annoying to try and get our people to move around. But Polak reaches the position of the next transponder, places it down. Please, thank you. Yeah,
good. That transponder is in
and
place
then
and operation.
Can't really see anything, but just goes into Overwatch just in case they move up. Weisha has to move up as well. She can't move very far whilst on the train, which is kind of a shame. So she's just going to move to try and get herself a good position on the enemy. Williams is going to move up, try and get into position, try and see those 2 thin men, which she does very successfully, so she's going to try and put a shot into one of them. Gain a 67% chance to hit with this guy, so she readies her weapon, shoots but misses, which is a bit of a shame.
No ammo available.
However, Endo does get squad sight on one of these guys, so she's going to switch to a sniper and get a 74% chance to hit with squad sight, which she manages to do effortlessly, getting herself a kill and getting rid of one of the threats happening on Williams' side. Vargas can't really do anything from his position, so he's just going to go into Overwatch. Maybe covering fire on Endo would be on Williams would be great, and Suleiman's going to dash up ahead to get himself closer to the transponder, and there's another transponder coming, and then the thin man does a mistake of moving forward, which doesn't actually cost him anything because Polak misses her shot, but as he continues to move forward he gets ever closer to any of my operatives, but both of them miss, which is annoying to say the least. So he's just going to move completely unperturbed. He's going to try and shoot at Williams and successfully does so, but only doing 3 damage because thin men don't actually do that much damage with their shots. And then from above, a Muton as they get teleported in by the big ship. So there's a Muton to deal with and a thin man. Suleiman is going to shoot at the Muton, dealing 3 damage, which is pretty terrible amount of damage to be honest. Williams can't really do anything from her position because she has to reload, so Endo instead is going to try and shoot at the Muton. 94% chance that that's what she's going to be doing, killing him with a critical hit of 6 damage. So now Williams just has a choice of attacking this thin man. She's going to do so. She's going to move up and use her Kinetic Strike to deal the damage necessary on the thin man. And she is a mech trooper as well. Doesn't actually count as having any lungs, allegedly. So she's immune to the fog that the thin man does. Polak is going to dash forward. I'm hoping that isn't in range of the fog, and luckily it isn't, so she doesn't take any fog damage. letting her go next to the transponder, able to put it down next turn. The rest of the team is going to move up to better positions. Vargas is going to move up and is going to go into Overwatch. 6 turns left, and Central is warning us that the alien battleship is coming close. Pollock is going to put the transponder down, if the train will allow me to do that, and then she's going to dash straight for this one. Actually getting poisoned because she runs through it, the poison smog, which is a bit of a bad move. Huishao is going to go straight into Overwatch, not going to move forward because I don't have vision on what's ahead. Vargas is going to move up behind the plank pot, dashing. Suleiman is also going to move up, but into a position where he can actually go into Overwatch because I need some people in Overwatch. Williams is going to move up and reload. Oh no, she's just going to reload, don't want to activate anyone else. And Endo is going to dash up to a good position of cover, and put in a closer, just in case squad sight allows her to shoot at anyone in range. The inactivity shows that no one is there, but Polak is poisoned and she's going to need to be healed at some point. Poison doesn't do that much damage, only does 1 damage between turns, but if she gets shot, it's going to risk her life. She's just going to put the transporter down. So apparently there's only 1 transponder left, which is great, so we can assume that it's going to be in that bit over there. So she dashes forwards, try and spot anyone, spots a Thin Man and the transponder. Thin Man's going to run off. And then Richard is up above. She's going to move forward to the next bit of the train. She's not really been useful this whole mission yet, but being up there will allow us to get some bonuses for later. Vargas goes into Overwatch. Suleiman moves up as well. He's actually going to move into this cover so he can maybe spot the Thin Man, but he does not. But he goes into Overwatch anyway. Williams, now reloaded, is able to move up, and she's going to go straight for the Thin Man since that's the only enemy that we can actually see, but the Thin Man is not in range. She goes into Overwatch, and Endo actually does get a squad sight shot, 74% on that dude. Shoots but misses, which is a bit of a shame considering that could be bad in the long run. Our Thin Man moves up and away, gets spotted, he hides behind the transponder location, goes into Overwatch, and then some more mutons are deep striked into the positions. We've got 2 of them in position, one next to Vargas, but Vargas is going to shoot at the one on top of the ceiling, getting 6 damage onto it. The others are going to shoot at the other muton, one of them hitting the other, Williams missing, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, there are mutons a bit everywhere and everyone is a bit flanked, which is not too good. So Williams is going to try and do something. I kind of have to decide how to do what. So I kind of want to move forward, and I erred because they're on Overwatch, so she's going to get shot at. She takes 8 damage from that muton, so the other muton could potentially kill her, which would be the worst thing ever. So the muton shoots at her and luckily misses. Would have been a horrible thing to do if she had died at that. Yeah, she gets in range for a kinetic strike, but actually isn't in range for a kinetic strike, because apparently I can't do it diagonally, or there's something wrong in general. So yeah, all that for nothing really, but she can still shoot at it, which is what she's going to do with 72% chance to hit, which manages to kill it down. So yeah, despite failing there, and it could have been worse, but yeah, like I wanted to kinetic strike and I did manage to. 52% chance for Vargas to kill that guy, but he misses. 50% wasn't exactly the highest. There's also a Thin Man further up ahead, which is a really big problem. I'm trying to select her Shaz, takes a while, but she does manage to get a shot, target of that muton, but doesn't get a good shot because he's behind cover. Now he ups it to 40%, which he misses, and now she's out in the open, which is probably not a very good idea. In fact, I can guarantee you that it's not a very good idea. So Suleiman's going to move up. I need to kill that muton straight away, but I can also kill the Thin Man, which may be a better choice, considering I don't have a very good percentage chance against the muton. But this could be my mistake. However, the Thin Man does go down, so there is still a alien, only one alien to deal with now. Endo rushes up to cover to try and get a shot on anyone. Polak has a shot, but not a very good one. I decide to see if she can run and gun, and that's what I do. I'm going to run and gun, I'm going to move up, and that doesn't actually put me in a good position to go for the transponder, and then I spot another Thin Man from running up. Just basically everything's not going too well. I need to kill that mutant though, with a 57% chance. She breaks down the window, shoots, but misses. She hits the cover instead of the mutant, which is horrible. The Thin Man jumps on top of the train, takes cover, and then shoots at Richard. Takes 6 critical damage. So yeah, the mutant basically just needs to go over, shoot at Richard, and she dies straight away, taking 2 critical hits. She was in a very bad position. She was going to die if I hadn't killed the mutant, and I didn't kill the mutant, so she did in fact die. We lose Richard, which is a shame. So yeah, I'm debating what I need to do. If I want to do anything, I tried to select someone, tried to select Williams, but for some reason someone wanted to open that door. Williams moves up, can't actually do anything from where she is, so she's just going to reload. So yeah, a bit of a bad moment there. So yeah, we still got 2 aliens going on, can't actually do anything, and both Endo and Suliman not doing anything. Polak is going to move up to activate the transponder. She's already poisoned, so the poison toxic doesn't really matter, but she does get a shot at, I think it's the mutant, for 45%. Doesn't manage to hit it. Wasn't expecting it to be honest. I've still got Suliman's missile launcher, which I think is what I'm going to go for, just for the guaranteed kill and the revenging shot against Richard's death, killing the mutant outright, destroying all his cover as well. And then Vargas is just going to reload from where he's going to move up into better cover actually before he does so, and then goes into a reload stance. No one's in Overwatch, which is not good considering the fact there's still a Thin Man around, who's going to move down into cover and then go into Overwatch rather than shoot at anyone, which is not the best for him. Suliman's going to reload and then go to switch to Endo, who has a shot on the Thin Man. 74% once again, shoots and kills the Thin Man, leaving no more aliens left, and Polak's going to dash up to the end zone, which finishes the mission, thankfully.
The train is ready to leave the station.
So yeah.
Once it crosses paths with the battleship, the aliens are in for a surprise.
So that's the end of the mission. We sadly, there's holes in that train. Sadly losing Richard, which is just the worst, and taking a lot of wounded in the process. But we succeeded in the mission, which leads off to a follow-up mission, which we will look at next time, which is just incredible. It's going to be good. But yeah. So thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one.